My name is Shannon Morales. I'm the founder and CEO of Tribaja. I founded the company, I want to say about 4 years or so ago after experiencing, just really uncomfortable work environment when I was in finance. And I just felt like there had to be a better way of connecting people to better opportunities. And that's when I started to found my company. It was previously called Echo Me Forward. We recently rebranded to Tribaja to be what we are today. I started, my business really out of a struggle, out of a need that I felt, wasn't being filled elsewhere. And I just wanted to do something better for the community. How can I connect people with better career opportunities? And that's what I was doing as a side hustle. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I just knew that I wanted to help. And 4 years later, I'm doing this full time as a full-time entrepreneur, and I'm super excited about it and all of the growth that we've been experiencing thus far. I was young and I honestly picked a career that I felt was secure. Finance at that time was super secure. A lot of professionals were entering into the financial industry, whether it was investment banking, financial analytics, anything within the finance industry was seen as a very stable opportunity and career at that particular time before the recession had kicked in. And I didn't think it was until after that recession that people started to leave the banking industry and that financial industry, and things started to shift more towards, technology and innovation. And in my head, I said, okay, so I was in this particular industry. I thought I had all the job security that I needed. As a mom of 3 daughters, I just wanted some place where I could say, okay, I can make enough money to feed my family. And that was why I picked finance. I didn't really think about the type of work environment that I was putting myself in, whether it was majority male or majority white male. I didn't really think about it. It was my first career. And then as I sat there and constantly felt like I was undervalued, I was like, okay, this is what people have been talking about in terms of not getting the type of career opportunities and advancement that you expect from the work that you put in. And when I decided to transition out of finance, I actually was still in finance, but I started to work for a tech company. I had an internship at Adobe, and I felt like maybe it's just the industry that I'm in. Maybe I need to just work in finance for another company, something, an organization that's more forward thinking, like a tech or, one of these big, giant companies that give you unlimited PTO and whatever that looks like. But it didn't matter where I went. The financial organization was always the same. It's the same, type of people that work in those industries and for that particular function. So it wasn't the company. It's what it is. It's finance is what it is. And, it takes time to change that. But I thought that technology was where I wanted to be. And it didn't necessarily mean that I had to stay in finance. I can find transferable skills that I learned while I was in finance and just switch over to something within the tech space. And I ended up just taking a chance on myself and staying in tech, but using my startup that I had created 4 years ago. So that was kind of how I ended up transitioning. I had been working for the company, I want to say about 2 years, and I had taken a pay cut to, take that career opportunity because they paid for tuition reimbursement. And so I did a lot of things throughout that year to make sure that my performance review was spot on, that there would be no reason for someone to deny me, tuition reimbursement for the following year. And I just had a boss that, completely, didn't help with any of my career development. And when performance review came up, they didn't offer me any type of tuition reimbursement for the following year. And they also didn't offer, they didn't give me an increase in salary or anything. I literally got nothing for that whole year of work. So I was very upset about it because I truly put a lot of effort into that year just because, with the silver lining being me getting some type of graduate degree, with tuition reimbursement, that was pretty much the deal, right? I put in work and you guys give me this, it's a give and take situation. But during that year and after the performance review, I felt like it was just a take. I didn't get anything out of the deal, besides a minimal, nominal salary, but something that I could have probably gotten elsewhere or even gotten more if I had went to a different organization. I just felt like I was undervalued, and I just didn't ever want that to happen again. I needed something that I could always be in control of. And for me, that was being an entrepreneur. I can always control my performance here. If I make a lot of money, it's because I, went out and bust my behind doing it. And if I get new clients, it's because of who I am as a person, and people buy into that. And everything at, Tribaja, I control. And it's a good feeling to know that, that the performance, that the effort I put in is, I'm going to see it, in the amount that my business grows. Tribaja is all about, the tech and startup space. Because I'm entrepreneurial, I also champion for young girls to, try their hand at entrepreneurship as soon as possible. So one of the initiatives that I did start last year is called the Bossy Accelerator Program. It happens at the end of the summer, where girls who are, trying to get their businesses off the ground and bring them to market, they have an opportunity to pitch their businesses for startup funding. And that's completely sponsored and funded by Tribaja. So that's one of the things that we're doing just to get girls, and I want to say a majority of those companies are tech companies. They're either a technical application or something that these girls are constantly working on and, putting a lot of effort into. And I don't think they get enough exposure, to their companies at that early stage, because people don't think that it's fully developed or that, it's going to make any money or they're too young or and things like that. And I think it's far from the truth. Some of the companies are farther along than I've seen, companies that have been in business for quite some time. And I think we need to give them that opportunity to showcase what they can do no matter what age they are. I also think that just technology in general is just a way for you to be more innovative. I'm technical because I have to be, because as I'm continuing to build my business, I have to figure out ways, how am I going to streamline things? How am I going to automate? How am I going to scale and make things faster so that I can grow and take out the manual processes out of everything that I do, so Shannon can really focus more on the development, the business development, and the partnerships, and the technology can do all of the back end stuff. So being an entrepreneur, you kind of have to be technical in a sense in order to stay on top of innovation. You just have to. So if you look at it in that way, you have to think about how can you have what are your competitive advantages? And sometimes it's being a little bit more tech savvy than the other person and staying on top of those different advantages. And for me, I'm really focused on no code, low code revolution. It's just coding, but it's without actually coding. You're coding more logically and putting logical thought in how you're building your application or your web app. And it's still a way for you to create your MVP and prototype, and you can still launch in the market. It's still super functional. And I think not enough people know about it, but it's extremely helpful for the underrepresented founders and tech people. The hardest thing that I've ever had to do to be where I'm at today is just taking a chance on myself. I constantly was doubting, what I could possibly be or what my business can actually grow to. I kept taking on full-time opportunities, and kept saying, I need a security blanket. I need something that's going to hold me up. And I mean, rightfully so. I mean, I am a single mom with 3 kids, so it is extremely scary to just take that step and say you can do it and rely on yourself to know that you're going to get it done in order to support your family. I want to say I did take a pay cut, doing that first year of entrepreneurship, which was last year, which happened to be one of the scariest years that I could possibly ever be a full-time entrepreneur. But what was great is that there were so many programs that helped me kind of subsidize, that income and that entrepreneurship as I was, becoming, full time. And now in 2021, it set me up to nothing but great successes. And now I want to say our revenue for 1 month was the revenue we had for 4 months last year. And like I just want that to keep growing. And my daughters are like, hey mom, we see you on Google and we see you like all over the place now. And, my mom owns a business and she's a business owner, and that makes me happy. Before, I used to think that my success was dependent upon the amount of degrees that I had on my wall. And now I know that it's just, how, confident am I in my own abilities and my ability to share that with my daughters.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content.